I've been told that speaking your truth is like opening a door you've been hiding behind for years. It's scary, it's painful, and sometimes you're not sure what will happen once you step through. But for me, speaking my truth was the only way to survive. My name is Daniel, and this is the story I swore I would never tell until now. It started the year I turned 16. My mother had been gone for just 6 months, and life felt like a black and white photograph, cold, still, and without warmth. My father remarried quicker than anyone expected, and before I could even process what was happening, I was packing my bags to move into a new house with a woman I had never met. Her name was Clara. Everyone called her kind and gracious, but from the moment I shook her hand, something about her made my stomach knot. She was beautiful in a way that drew people in, sharp eyes that missed nothing, and a smile that felt like it knew more than it should. In front of others, she was warm and charming. But when it was just the two of us, that smile changed. It became something else, something I didn't have words for back then. At first, it was little things. She'd touch my shoulder when she didn't need to, stand too close in the kitchen, or hold my gaze for a few seconds longer than necessary. I thought maybe I was imagining it. After all, she was my stepmother now, maybe she was just trying to be friendly. But then, her friendliness began to feel like something I needed to escape from. My father worked long hours, sometimes leaving before sunrise and returning long after I was in bed. That left Clara and me alone most evenings. She would ask about my day in this soft voice, but it wasn't the kind of asking that cared about my answer. It was the kind that watched my reaction like she was testing how far she could go. One evening, I was studying at the dining table when she walked in wearing a silk robe. She leaned on the chair across from me, her eyes fixed on mine. "Your father's not coming home tonight," she said. The way she said it sent a shiver down my spine. I nodded and kept writing in my notebook, hoping she would leave. Instead, she circled the table slowly and stood behind me, resting her hands on my shoulders. I froze. "You're tense," she whispered. That was the first time I realized I wasn't imagining it. Something was wrong. From that day, I avoided being alone with her. I started staying late at school, pretending to have projects just so I could come home when my father was there. But Clara noticed. "You don't like spending time with me anymore," she said one night, her tone light but her eyes sharp. "That's not very nice, Daniel." It wasn't just the touches anymore. She started playing mind games, telling me my father was too busy to care about me, that I should be grateful she was looking after me. She'd lock doors when we were inside the same room and hide the keys. I felt trapped in my own home, like a prisoner who couldn't speak. And I didn't speak. Not for months. Because she was smart. She told me once in a low voice, "If you tell anyone lies about me, I'll make sure your father sends you away. No one will believe you." I believed her. She had a way of twisting everything to her advantage, and she was so good at playing the perfect wife in front of my father that even I began to doubt myself. But the thing about fear is it doesn't just grow. It festers. It eats at you until something inside you snaps. For me, that breaking point came one rainy afternoon. I came home from school early because classes were canceled. I thought I would have the house to myself. But Clara was there. She smiled when she saw me, but it wasn't the smile she used in public. It was the other one. She blocked the hallway, leaning casually against the wall. "You and I need to stop pretending," she said. "You can't hide from me forever." That night, I couldn't sleep. My heart pounded every time I heard the floorboards creak. I knew this wouldn't stop unless I did something. So, I started writing everything down. Every word she said, every time she touched me, every threat she made. I hid the journal in my school locker. It took me 2 more weeks to get the courage to show it to someone. The person I chose was my school counselor, Mrs. Ajayi. She listened quietly as I read a few pages. When I looked up, her eyes were wet. "Daniel," she said gently, "this is not your fault. But you have to let me help you." Things moved fast after that. The police were involved within days. Clara denied everything, of course. She called me a troubled boy and claimed I had made it all up because I didn't like her. But the journal entries, along with some audio recordings I had managed to take, told a different story. My father's face when he heard them is something I will never forget. It was as if he had been hit by a train. Shock. Guilt. Anger. Clara was arrested. My father apologized over and over, though I could see in his eyes that he was struggling to forgive himself. I started therapy soon after. The nightmares didn't stop immediately, but over time, I learned something important. Silence is the soil where abuse grows. Every day I stayed quiet was a day Clara grew bolder. I'm telling you all this because I want you to understand. Abuse doesn't always come from strangers in dark alleys. Sometimes, it lives inside your own home, wearing a friendly face and a warm smile. Sometimes, it hides behind the title of family. And if you're reading this and you feel unsafe, hear me. Speak. Even if your voice shakes, even if you think no one will believe you. Speak. Because there is someone who will. And because your life, your safety, your truth are worth far more than their lies.